Grand Rising, Grand Rising, and welcome back to another Commercial Trucking Chronicle video. Grand Rising, welcome back. I want to talk to you guys today about the importance of following through. To make sure that we get to the end of this race, this marathon. Life is not easy. And a lot of times, what happens in life is unfair for a lot of us. As hard as it might be for some of us to continue to keep on and keep on and keep going and keep going, keep on, keep going, because it feel like life just beat you down, man. It beats you down, man. You know, I wish I could wake up every day and it's just a, you know, there's no challenges, you know. Angela, how you doing? Grand Rising to you. Thank you for joining. All you guys, thank you for joining. And I'm just here right now, wanting to really talk about the importance of following through so that we can assure that we're winning, because life is unfair, man. Sometimes it's just you wake up and it's something else, unexpected. We already have challenges that we are all facing out here, but then when you get hit from the left, with some things that, you're just like, man, how am I gonna handle this? You gotta follow through. You gotta stay on it. You gotta try to pick up those pieces. We might have been over here trying to build something. Then here come life and it just knock it all down. Like cards. Like you're stacking the cards, you know. Thank you, man. I appreciate you too. I do, my man. You know, life is just, we can say life is just not fair. A lot of us is out here. We really, really are trying to do our best over here, man. And you know, when things happen, man, it's usually for a reason because how you react to these situations determine the outcome. That's why I'm saying you got to follow through. You got to stay on top of your game. You got to be doing your due diligence out here, man. Otherwise, you're going to fall in between the cracks and ain't nobody going to care about you. In fact, they're going to walk right over you. You know what I'm saying? They're going to walk all over you and they're going to step over you out here. Okay? We can't let that happen, man. I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to see nothing like that happen to you, anybody that I know, people I don't know, and I especially don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? In my life, with all the situations that we face with, we still got to be able to persevere, man. And it's hard, man. I'm telling you, it's hard, man. It is hard, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible. So, sometimes, the struggle is real, man. The pain is real, you know, but that finish line, man, you know what I'm saying? It feels like they keep moving the goalposts. So you just got to go a little bit harder. Sometimes you just got to keep on keeping on and keep going. You know, um, I just recently experienced, some trauma that I didn't sign up for. And I don't think any of us sign up for trauma, but it happens. And it's the question is, how do you deal with it? So, of course, you got to persevere. You got to pull yourself together. You know, keep a level head. You know, and fight for what's rightfully yours. You know what I'm saying? Fight for the outcome that you deserve. Don't fold and give in to the adversities that are out here that life might throw at you, because you're not going to win the race that way. And it's tough. It's very hard. Sometimes you feel like you ain't got it in you to fight anymore. I felt like that, on numerous occasions, man. Everything that come at me, I got a whole life, a whole family, a whole all kind of stuff. Then you get to situations that you got going on with your workplace. And then you always got, everything else out here in society that's pretty much like the odds or the cards just keep stacking up against you, stacking up against you. But you got to stay resilient, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to remember that, even when there don't seem like there's a way, you got to make a way. You know what I'm saying? Out of no way. And you got to be really confident in yourself, you know, and in the outcome. That's just like the people that graduate, after 4 years of school, however many years of school. Sometimes they going through it, and they want to throw in the towel, halfway through through the semester, you know. Dean, how you doing? Grand Rising, appreciate you for joining me. All you guys, man. Anybody that's in the chat, appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we didn't have. I mean, some people have plans for their life, but we don't always. The plans don't always go according to plan. The roadmap of life, you know what I'm saying, is not always giving you the fine details of how to get there. But I can assure you that as long as you stay resilient, or you stay, you know, uh, pressing towards, your outcome. Remember, we all have an outcome that we want in life. What is the outcome? When we start on this journey and stuff like that, my journey, when I first started, what I'm saying, to a family and stuff, I did have I had a vision of what I wanted, how I wanted to live, how I wanted to raise the kids, how I wanted the wife's life to be like, how I wanted the house to look, how I wanted, and I always had that vision as a young man growing up of what I envisioned my life to be like, not realizing how life can throw you for a loop, man. You know what I'm saying? It can pull you back so many steps, or it can catapult you forward because of your reaction to things, how you handle situations, how you show up, or how, because you're not showing up, then then the outcome changes. You know, you know, and it's traumatizing, man. Sometimes we go through. I think we all need to see a therapist. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I can't tell you how serious that really is, because we all are dealing with trauma in our lives. I just experienced something yesterday that just kind of really, after I thought about it, I was like, dang. And, you know, some people come into your life for a reason, right? Some people come into your life for a reason. Some of them, experiences and things happen to make you a better person along the way. Everything that we are going through, you know what I'm saying, is for a reason, for an outcome. You might not see it at first, but as you, you know, as you reach higher and climb higher, you start to understand, you know, man, I'm glad I stayed, stay focused in the situation. I'm glad at that point when that happened to me, I handled it this way and I didn't do that because we can make it's about choices, man. The choices that we make. Some people's choices make their lives, what I'm saying, the situations and things that they're going through 10 times worse. 10 times worse. You know, and you know people are afraid to ask for help out here, man, because they already feel like nobody's gonna be there for them. A lot of people feel like, oh, it's just me. I don't have anybody, and you get to a place where you feel like that after always having challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge, and you know, you look at some things like, man, I never really handled that situation 100% to where I don't gotta worry about it no more. So it's still something lingering there that we kind of will, say, man, screw it, man. I ain't got time for this, man. I don't have time for it. So many people, man, I mean, myself, personally, I would keep it personal. So many times, I have a lot on my plate, man. I know we all do. I'm just gonna say I got a lot on my plate. We all have a lot on our plate. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when I look at a lot of the things that I have on my plate, it's like, yo, I don't got no room for no more, man. But then life says, oh well, whether you do or don't, guess what I got for you? Some more, right? And once you understand that, we'll say, well, life's not fair. It's not fair. It ain't fair. Even though that's how it is, we still gotta be, we still gotta, we still gotta press on. We still gotta press on. You know, it's good to always have people that are supporting you. So build yourself some kind of a network of some people that are gonna be there to support you when your times look gray, when your days don't look so good, stuff like that, man. Because that's gonna make the difference. Just that one person, and it could be somebody that you don't even expect to be there for you that will be there, and that one person can help you. That one person can help you handle, not help you deal with some of the pressures that you might be under, man. Because everybody is at some point under some pressure. We out here. I don't want to say everybody's faking, but there's a lot of people out here that mean there's a lot of times I wear a smile and I'm not happy on the inside, man, because I know that there's a lot of things that's really 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 going on that I just, and I've been doing that since a kid, and we probably all have, you know, just if I forget about it, if I don't come face to face with it, I can move on. I could just continue, on. I can keep, because I gotta keep going. I don't want to stay. Some people, they can't do that, and I'm not saying like kind of just stuff it, you know, pack it up in a box, bury it. It's like a skeleton in the closet. You go to open the closet to throw another skeleton in there, and the door just pushes back on you. That's life, man. That's life, man. We all go through it, man. We all go through it, man. But I really want to just encourage you today, man. I mean, I'm going to reach out to find a therapist someone that I can talk to, someone that I can just unlock, because we always need somebody to. I'm, I'm going through so much after having been, what I'm saying, in some situations recent, you know, and then, you have flashbacks of things, you get caught in the moment, your mind gets stuck there, you know, and it's crazy because you're like, man, I don't want to deal with this, bro. But in order to grow, you got to go through it. You got to deal with it. You have to face it. You have to dig down, see, you know, where the root of that problem was caused and start to try to, reconstruct that part of you that was, that was hurt or damaged or broken. You know, we didn't come into this world asking for a lot of the stuff that life gives us, man. Everybody, I'm pretty sure the billionaires weren't born to think, well, they got some of them born with a silver or gold spoon in their mouth. It's just born with it. But it's so few people like that. So few people like that. But for the rest of us that make it to greatness, you know what I'm saying, that make it out here, it's a fight, man. It's a fight, man. And see, a lot of us, we playing by the rules. We checking in all the boxes. We're doing everything right, man, and can't get a break. That does not mean that the situation can't change for you, right? It's almost like you get so close to it, you got it in the palm of your hand, like you can taste success. It's right there, and then bam, life happens. Something happens. But we all experience stuff like that. Like, dang, man, I was just about to, be on top of my game, and this happened. And you know what? Learn from it and keep going. You know. But it's like I said, it's good to have support. It's good to have people that might show up and leave you some comfort and words that can help you. People say, "Well, I need a life coach." Hey, man, if I could be your life coach, I will. And I'm gonna tell you, the more complicated your life is, I may have to start asking for some money, man, to help you, because it's like, man, that's a lot. I'm gonna help, but can you help me in the same regard? So reach out to those people that might be there. Some of the support systems that are out there. I mean, I know I might have to have a copay or something for some counseling, which is fine. But I'm gonna need to reach out to somebody. I'm letting you know now because I'm going through a lot, man, and I know we all are. But I'm gonna go ahead and reach out and try and get some support because it's just so much that I'm like, man, I don't really know how I'm gonna deal with this until I come up here and talk to you guys and I share, what I'm going through and stuff. I share a lot of the stuff that I go through. I have coffee with y'all. You know, we chop it up about my day, how things are going. I try to share some of my, my celebration, celebrating stuff with y'all. My proud moments, and then there's moments when I'm feeling it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through it, man. And I need y'all to support me, man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you get those people that show up in the comments, and I'd be so glad to see or hear from them. But then sometimes they don't show up. But that's okay, because everybody got their own thing going on, and I get it. See what I'm saying? But the one thing about me, I'm not folding. I promise you that. I'm not giving up. I'm definitely, still chasing. And I don't like to chase after anything, but I have to chase my reality. You know what I'm saying? I have to chase. I can't live in a fantasy. And what happened is, if you don't deal with life on life's terms, then you're living in some kind of bubble or something, right? Chase. You want to chase reality. You want to deal with. You want to deal with. Life on life's terms. You want to. Accept your. Don't try to not be accountable, but take accountability. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by chasing reality. You know, I'm gonna stand up and take account for mine. If I'm in the wrong, because I'm gonna learn from that lesson. You know, so there's just some things that we all gotta reflect on, man. There's things that we reflect on all the time, every day. I reflect on so many things that have happened in my past. You know, and I reflect on things that, have happened, a short time ago, very recent. How did I handle that? Could I have done better? You know, and a lot of times, I got to give myself credit. When I say, Jen, you did the best you could, man. Or Swizzy, you did what you could. Forget about it, man. Move on. Don't let that be, a cause for you to stay stuck because you don't want to, accept that there was nothing more that you could do in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes to grow, you have to grow within the space that's allowed for you to grow. You don't want to grow too fast. Even though growth is good, but it's like a woman told me, oh, you're growing too fast. And I took that little personal. I was growing my business too fast. But she was and now I'm looking back at it, she was right in a sense, because I probably should have, prepared myself for what was to come a little bit better. But I was growing. It was growing and it felt good to experience that type of growth that I wanted to go to the next level so bad. Like I said, I jumped out the window, but I probably should have kind of stayed a little bit more, stay a little bit more like the guy, an old school guy told me, he said, stay small and take it all. That was real smart. That was real smart. I thought about it. He was right. I tried to get too big for my britches because that door was open, but I didn't have to go through it. I didn't have to try to level up so fast. I could have stayed small, right? And I would have kept more. You know, stay small and take it all, man. That made a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, they're gonna treat you like a big boy once you start acting like one. You get in a lot of trouble out here, expect to have a lot of, um, if you take the more you take on, the more you're gonna have to be accountable for. And I'm not saying run away from that accountability, but make sure that you're ready for it. Make sure you got your network right. Make sure you did the planning, the proper planning. Plan A, Plan B, and if that don't work, you got a Plan C and a Plan Plan D. I had a friend that told me, man, if Plan A don't work, you gotta have Plan B, and if Plan B don't work, you gotta have Plan C, and if Plan C don't work, you better have Plan D. And so I finished the sentence for him. Yeah, and if Plan D don't work, you gotta have Plan E, right? He said, "Now you're getting it," and I respected that because he would give me some valuable information. You know. Um, so yeah, man. That's what I want to talk to you about. Hopefully this helps somebody. Um, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment. We don't have to get up here and tell everything about what we're going through, but leave a testimony, man. If you're going through it, or you've gone through it, you know what I'm saying? Or you find yourself, going through it, and you need some support, don't be afraid to ask. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, right? So I'm your boy Swizzy. I appreciate you guys. Go on, get your look. It's hump day, man. This might be one of the biggest humps of the week. So there's a lot going on, you guys. Okay, so I said it's hump day, Wednesday. I want you to stay motivated, and you guys check me out in the next video and keep me in your prayers because we all need it. I do too. So pray for me and I pray for you. Peace. Keep trucking. Oh, shout out to my boy Tommy Fat Check. He getting that money, man. Tom, stay safe out there, man. All right. Peace out.